guys, how's it going? Today I want to give you a 4-year update on this hedge of Incrediball hydrangeas. They're just looking so good. I mean, despite the fact that we've had excavators in here this spring, we're getting ready to put in a new brick walkway, and it's going to look so pretty with these as the backdrop. So we put these in 2018. When I brought them home, I'm not even sure we included it in a video because I just wanted to get them in the ground. They arrived at the garden center smashed. A tree had rolled inside the semi and rolled on top of a bunch of the plants. So I got them for a really good price. And I thought, you know, let's just put them in the ground, see what happens. It's kind of a testament of faith in planting. A lot of times when you get those discount plants and you bring them home, it just takes a little bit of TLC, a little bit of extra care, and then you can end up with something like this. So these blooms are just amazing. Such a beautiful contrast to all of the deep green in this area. I mean, Erin, do you want to get close in on this one? I mean, look at how huge the bloom is. So when the blooms are just starting to open, in fact, let's take a look at this. You can see kind of the different stages of color right here. They're kind of this jade green color, and then they start showing their creamy white color, and then they get a little bit brighter, and then as the bloom ages, it turns from the brighter white back into this jade green color, and that's the way they look through the rest of the season. And that's the reason why I love hydrangeas so much in our garden. We plant them all over the place because you don't have to deadhead them, you don't have to fuss with them through the season. They just look like this through the whole thing, all the way through the end. And we only have to come through in the early spring. When they start to leaf out in the early spring is when we prune. So we come through and prune them one time, and we give them some fertilizer. And we've done holly tone in the past, we've done plant tone, we've done flower tone. They all work really well. So we usually do an application in the spring and then try to do it one other time in the season like we do with all the rest of our plants. But that is it. That is all that these require. So these grow about 4 to 5 feet tall and wide, so they haven't even reached their full maximum size potential in this space, but it's really nice that they are an improvement of the older Annabelle type. So they're a type of Hydrangea arborescens or smooth hydrangea, but they're not prone to flopping. And I know the older type Annabelles didn't have very strong stems, and so they tended to, you know, once they got their big blooms, it's a lot of weight, and they tend to flop over and kind of create an unsightly looking plant. And these stay a lot more compact and dense. They have stronger stems, so that's a really nice thing. And for us here, where it's a little bit more harsh, it's nice that they are a new wood bloomer. So they bloom on new wood like your panicle hydrangeas as well, which means that if you have a tough winter, if you have deer, you know, grazing on them, they will still bloom for you. Unlike some of the other hydrangeas that bloom on old wood, if you have a tough winter, it can wipe out your blooms for the next season. But these create blooms on brand new wood that they create in the same season, which is so nice. They're a zone 3 through 8 too, so they're super winter hardy. It's kind of funny because this was the most damaged of all of the hydrangeas here. And you can tell too, I don't know if you can see from your angle, but as they start tucking in under the lilac, there's still color on that last one, but it's not quite as much as these out here. Hydrangeas do require a minimum of 6 hours of sun in order to be productive like this, which this is kind of the perfect area. A little bit of protection in the early morning from a locust tree, and then they get this slice of sun throughout the mid-morning to mid-afternoon, and then they're protected in the late evening when it's the hottest. But the one negative about these, and I think that's just because of our climate, we're so dry and hot here, so it probably doesn't apply to most of you guys or some of you guys, but we do have to supply them extra water. So we've got these connected to the same drip zone as the rest of the stuff in here, but we had to run an extra line by these, so they have 2 lines of drip rather than just a single line, and we do have to run that extra line every single day through the hot part of the summer to keep them from wilting. But if they do start to wilt like midday, they usually pick back up by the evening. So it's just one of those things we've had to play with, figuring out what kind of water they need in order to thrive. But it's something I actually never thought I'd be able to do here. I kind of, like, even when I worked at the garden center, I tell people to put them in a more protected spot where they get more shade, and that is true to keep them from wilting without extra water, but then you don't get the bloom. Like, you don't get the bloom production like you're seeing right here. They just need that sun in order to look so amazing. Pruning on these is really simple. You go in the late spring once they've started to leaf out so that you can determine where the strongest sets of leaf buds are. And you can also see if there are any dead branches at that point. You know, if you see the whole thing is starting to show green, but there's a branch with nothing on it, you can take those branches out, and then you take the whole plant back. You cut it back by about 1/3 of its total size. There's really not a lot of science to it. You just, you know, take it back by that much. that allows the bottom of the plant to stay strong and kind of create that woody structure so that it keeps the plant really strong. That is pretty much it. I just thought, you know, while we have some things looking amazing, and if we get a bit of overcast, it would be kind of fun to come out here and just talk about a single plant, show you what it looks like 4 years later. In this spot, when we moved in, there was a, I don't even know if we have footage of it, but there was, I'm sure we do, huge privet hedge right here, right behind where all these hydrangeas are. And then right where the hydrangeas are sitting now, there were roses. But the roses weren't quite getting enough sun to be really productive. So it was a little bit of a straggly area, and the privets were, you know, showing a lot of death. So this is all new since we moved in, and I'm just really happy to see some of the areas that we originally planted starting to look more full and mature. It's a really fun thing to see. So anyway, thank you guys for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you in the next one.